Good morning, chickadoes and chickadees. Today is Wednesday, November 18th, and this is your video for the basic versus slave presentation. So in today's lesson, I went over how I want you to focus on your writing, your speech, your script, and go in and polish it up, and then give me some in your status check, things that you are proud of, things that you are concerned with, that you are not sure about how to do, you have a question about, and of course, the status of your piece, like where you're at. One of the elements that I wanted to focus on is the idea of basic versus slay. This is a concept that I like to teach in regards to writing. When we write, I want to be able to teach you the foundation, teach you, focus on uh, knowing what works well, and then building on top of that. So when I say basic, it's playing off of that idea of being basic is kind of like just doing a little bit too much, or we're looking at it's not so much a negative sense, but this is doing just enough. And that's okay. So you're going to go ahead and click in this PowerPoint, or the PowerPoint that's here. That's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. So the PowerPoint is for you to have. So let's go ahead and go to it. So when we talk about basic versus slate in writing, we're looking at how what we can do in the basic form, like just enough, and then to slay it is to be awesome, is to do more than is required, to show that we know we've got this. We are that nuanced veteran writer. We know how to write and knowing when to put it. So here we go. When it comes to thesis statements, especially for argumentation, the basic is just like doing the bare minimum, but in a sense, it's still good. It's still what is required. It's still what I need you to do. These are the expectations. This is what we should be doing consistently, no matter what. So when we talk about thesis statements, we're only given our position, which for most of y'all, that's what you've already done. And that's good. That's just what we need. So for instance, when we're talking about positions for argumentation, we can play around with some like students should be allowed mental health days as part of their absence options. That is the idea that you are going to argue, you're going to try to persuade and deal with and achieve with your audience. Again, when we do thesis statements, it has to have a clear stance. We have to be picking a side, not trying to argue both. We just focus on one. Another possible thesis statement I've seen is women should be offered paid maternity leave regardless of their place of employment. Like regardless of what job they are or what job they do, they get paid leave. And reality check, people don't have that. Women don't have that. So we're arguing that it should be mandatory, that it should be required no matter what. And then a third possible thesis statement I've come across is the United States needs to make voting compulsory, meaning it is a must. It is required. Everyone who's of age must do it. You can't opt out of it. It will be since a law that you have to vote in any election. Again, that's arguable. There's controversy there. We would have some people going up against you. So thesis statements need to take a clear side, and we're just doing basic. We're just stating our position. And remember, that is okay. That is the requirement. Now, if we want to slay it, we want to go a little glam on it, do the one up on our other writers. To slay a thesis statement is be sophisticated, show that opposition, give hint to the opposition, because you're going to do it anyways later, but you're just showing it that you can consistently do it. So in a slayed thesis statement, acknowledge the other side and then shoot your side in. For instance, although students have many opportunities for excused school absences, students should be allowed mental health days as part of their absence options. Like, ooh, all right, we see the other side and you're showing me your side. All right, we're good. We're sticking to ours. Another Slade thesis statement showing that balance. Even though women are offered medical care and maternity leave, women should be offered paid maternity leave regardless of their place of employment. Putting it right there for them. So we're using these words, however, even though, albeit, just to kind of show that transition of here's what they're saying and this is what I'm saying. And last thesis statement. Despite the fact that we live in a free nation, the United States needs to make voting compulsory. Compulsory, meaning that even though we're free to make our own decisions, we need to make sure that every eligible citizen votes. Again, controversial, I love it. We're acknowledging the other side. The sentence structure in it in itself is more complex than a straightforward, simple sentence. Again, nothing wrong with basic, it gets the job done. But if you want to up one and show that nuanced writing, show that more elevated, sophisticated writing, slay your thesis. When it comes to body paragraphs, this is how we do basic and this is how we do slay. My basic is a T paragraph. That is my winner. No matter what type of essay we're writing, the T paragraph will get you through because we give a reason, we give clear evidence, whether it's from a text or we're pulling it from our four corners of knowledge, and then that analysis, having that conversation, explaining how that idea, that evidence proves my position is correct. So no matter what, T is good. T is golden. It works. This is what we need to be doing all the time. Now, if we're doing more of an elevated stance, if we are taking, showing that we are a complex, diverse writer, that we have a lot of tools in our writing box, then that is where we go slay. And the slay version, as you guessed it, is the Tolman paragraph, because that is the T paragraph on steroids. That Tolman paragraph has one-upped it. So we have our topics, and it's just like a T paragraph. We have a reason why we're taking that position. We give our evidence. We explain how that particular evidence and that reason proves why we're right. But then we also say, you know what? Wait, there's more. We amplify. We say, hey, here's another one. Here's another particular instance, a specific situation where this also applies. This is what it looks like. Give that analysis. And then that rebuttal refutation. We say, we hear you, boo. We hear what you're talking about. We understand what you don't like. This is what you're hating on, but this is why you're wrong, or this is why I'm still right. And again, that is a more diverse, sophisticated paragraph structure because we have a lot going on there, but it flows, it's connected. There's that sense of homogeneity in there. So a Tolman paragraph. So for your TED Talk, your speech, your script, the slay Tolman paragraph is required. Everybody needs to write a Tolman. Now, to one up it, to show more of a complex conversation, more reasons and ideas for that position you're taking rather than just that one reason, throw in one or two more T paragraphs because you're going to discuss a second reason and a third reason in that piece. So you'll have 3 body paragraphs, whatever order you want, but one is going to be Tolman, the other 2 is going to be T, because even though we slay, sometimes we don't need to go overkill. That's just a little bit too much. So think of the Tolman paragraph as a spice. It's just a little bit here and there. It's just a drizzle and not a whole heaping full of it. So Tolman, just once you do it, you don't got to do it again in an essay. And bring on those T paragraphs to kind of ump it up to create some flow to it. So I came across these 2 quotes that I really love when it comes to writing, and it really embodies what we're doing this year. So we take a look at this book, On Writing Well, and this is a nonfiction book. So if you're interested in that writing process and building, 2 books that I would suggest is Stephen King's On Writing, because he talks about the writing process and the publishing process and the creativity that goes behind it, and then Willem Zinsser's On Writing Well. Those are 2 amazing writing nonfiction books if you're looking at how to harness and hone your writer's craft. So with this one, I love this quote because it's hard, baby. Writing is hard. It is putting down your thoughts, as crazy and as weird as they sound, onto paper and making them appealing enough for someone else to read, making them clear enough for someone else to understand what you're thinking. So writing is hard. It is a skill that gets easier with practice, and good practice at that. I hate the saying, practice makes perfect. And no, if you're practicing wrong, then you're going to perform wrong. So looking at the writings, it's like it's looking at good writings all the time. So I love this saying that it's hard and it's a recursive process. The second quote that focuses on was what we're doing really with The Great Gatsby. The only way we're going to learn to write well is reading others who have written well. And one accessible text that we have is The Great Gatsby, something that we can connect to, use, and it's quick and to the point. So go out and read, guys. Go out and find those writers that are doing it well, writing well, and have a beautiful writer's craft that you can turn around and emulate in your own pieces. All right, I will be on the Zoom call if you have any questions, and I can't wait to see how you slay your TED Talk. Love you. Have a good one, guys.